Good morning and welcome to Valley Views. I'm your host, Glenn Edison. We're certainly glad to have you today. And as always, we want to thank BTC Fiber, who sponsors our program. And you can see this program on BTC Fiber's YouTube page as well as BTC Fiber's Channel 18. And also we want to thank our sponsors, Embers Ice Cream of Pikeville, Nickel Roll Antique of Pikeville, and as well as White Wagon Bed and Breakfast. So thank you to our sponsors. Today we have with us, a local celebrity in Cody McCarver, and he may not call himself that, but he is, because everybody knows Cody, or they should.
Yeah, well, that's I don't know. I find it funny the people will come up to me at the grocery store and go, "Hey, can I get my picture taken with you?" And I still find that funny. I don't know. I kind of like being able to come home, and I go on the road, and we play shows and people buy tickets and they see us play. But being home is I just like being Cody.
Yeah. But everybody loves you. You do so much for the community, and that's what we want to talk about today. Is some of the things you have done for our community. And one of the first things I want to talk about is recently you won an award. Tell us about that.
Well, we won a couple. A few years back, I wrote some gospel music. Well, so when I say a few years back, 2013, I wrote a gospel album, and took that album to Nashville to meet with some people in the Christian music industry. And I was kind of told that it really didn't fit. I wasn't really a contemporary Christian artist. I wasn't really a Southern gospel artist. It was, kind of gruffy, and the lyrics were really serious, and maybe I was too, outlawy.
Yeah.
So I said, well, I'll do what I do. I'll call it outlaw gospel. I thought that was kind of a funny thing to say.
Yeah.
And the guy that I was visiting with that day, he said, man, that's a great idea. So we trademarked the name Outlaw Gospel, and I have done since then 4 of those Outlaw Gospel Christian albums. And we do a lot of ministry stuff. We play prisons, churches, just all kinds of stuff. And as I began to do these albums, I began to write more and more. And I won an award this year at the Inspirational Country Music Association. So they call it ICMA. It's basically country music with a faith-based message. And so the ICMA Awards was this past July, actually June, I'm sorry. And I had COVID, so I didn't get to go. We had came back from a show in North Dakota, and me and the band and everybody was sick. So I didn't get to go to the awards, and I didn't expect to win, but I won an award, and it was for Songwriter of the Year.
Well.
And which I have never called myself a songwriter. There's so many great songwriters in Nashville. There's so many great songwriters, around the world. I write songs, so I guess I'm a songwriter, but I never really called myself a songwriter. I didn't feel like I was up to the level of the guys that really write.
Yeah.
And but anyway, I won an award for Songwriter of the Year. And then last year, we had a song out called These Hands, which was a duet with me and John Schneider. And John and I won Duo Performance of the Year from the ICMA. And we won Music Video of the Year, which John filmed and directed. So he was really honored by that. That's the first time he's ever won an award for his editing. And John's a great editor.
Yeah.
And let me show you. This is the award that we got, which I'm really proud of.
Oh, that's neat.
I don't drop it out here and break it.
No. No, we don't want you to do that.
And it's as heavy, if you want to hold it, as you looks like it is.
Oh yeah, it is heavy.
So
that's pretty.
And I have another one of those coming that says Songwriter of the Year, but I couldn't get it because, like I said, I had COVID. And so yeah,
that's neat.
We've been blessed.
Well deserved.
Yeah, it's been, I don't know about that, but we've been blessed. It's so many good things. I back up, and you're in Dunlap, Tennessee. You're playing at a a local bar, and when you're wanting to be worldwide famous,
Yeah.
and you jump in a van and you take off working and singing songs and playing in beer joints, and you don't realize how dumb you really are. And then you turn around and a bunch of years later you receive accolades for the work you've done. And it's a big deal. I'm honored by it.
Well, you know this. Many of the great bands and singers, they work years before before we ever see them on the highlights.
Yeah.
And
I love people. I watch. The whole world is kind of in a Chris Stapleton craze, and everybody loves Chris Stapleton. Oh man, you heard this new guy, Chris Stapleton? When he started, really getting famous, he redid George Jones' Tennessee Whiskey, which I still believe George Jones's version is better. But with that said, I remember him singing demos in Nashville for songwriters and making $50.
yeah.
And he was in Nashville for a long time before he ever became Chris Stapleton. And I actually have songs that I wrote that he demoed for me.
Yeah.
So you just never know.
Yeah.
But I love it when people think an artist is an overnight success.
Many nights.
Yeah, many night success would be more like it.
Well, that's great, and certainly congratulations to you, Cody.
Thank you.
I know that because I've known you for a long time, and I know the work you've put in and the miles you've traveled to put in that work, and I know you've enjoyed every minute of it. It's been a road for you.
Yeah.
Long
Yeah, there was a young man came in here to the studio where we're sitting the other day. I ran into him at Best Buy, working at Best Buy. I'm not going to say his name. I ran into him working at Best Buy, and he said, "You're Cody McCarver, ain't you?" And I said, "I am." And he said, "Yeah, I know who you are. I've been to see you play. And where do you live?" And he said, he doesn't live in Dunlap, but he lives in Sequatchie County. And he said, I play guitar, and I want to get into business. And he reminded me of myself.
Yeah.
And I told him, I said, "Come to the studio and see me." And I had him in here actually yesterday. We sat down and listened to him play, and I gave him some advice and some direction, because things that I wish somebody had given me when I was 20 years old.
Right.
That I didn't really get. I had to kind of learn it
The hard way.
Yeah.
Well, and that's that's it. If someone can have these mentors and tutors at an early age,
Yeah.
then and maybe by having this studio, we can develop that here in the Sequatchie County and in the valley and get people. There's a lot of talented people out here in their valley.
Yeah.
And maybe we can get them started.
There really is, Ed Brown's been making music for about 15 years.
Yeah.
Ed Brown ought to be the biggest star in the bluegrass world, I believe. I think he's great. What
Yeah.
a talent.
Yes.
And, him and Jill at Music Makers, and the people at Music Makers that teach down there, they'll never know, what they've done to teach kids. Music is a big deal. My mama made me learn to play music when I was 9. Made me. Literally almost had to hold a gun to my head. And, sometimes I wake up with COVID in a hotel room in North Dakota, and I want to go find her and choke her for making me learn how to play music, because I got the fever and it never went away,
Yeah.
But these kids that they can play a guitar, or they can play piano at their church, or it's a big deal, and Ed and Jill and the people around here that have taught, I actually taught for a while I was young, and it's something.
Well, now you mentioned earlier about you winning your award for the Songwriter of the Year. Let's talk about the Songwriters Festival we recently had.
Yeah, wasn't that cool? Did you come?
No, I fractured my kneecap that week.
So you and me, every time something good happens, we get sick or get hurt.
Yeah, pretty much you can say that.
The Songwriters Festival, we're going to have it again.
Good.
That was the first annual Songwriters Festival. It wasn't anything that was, real hugely planned out, but we worked awful hard at it.
Yeah.
And that was Janice at our chamber here. and Janice Adams Kaiser. I still call her Janice Adams because her daddy Carl kept me from going to jail one time. And her mama taught me in school, so. But I love Janice, and Janice works hard, and she was wanting to try to do something, and I said, hey, I want to try to do something. And I want to do a Songwriters Festival and give props to the guys and the gals and that write the songs that make the whole world sing, to quote Barry Manilow, I think.
Yeah.
And so we sat down, and just me and her, and then we went to, Louie and Becky. We went to Randy over at the Game Shack,
Right.
Baylor, who runs the yard. Everybody kind of on these blocks right here, and we said, hey, we want, and Doc Shepard, who loved it. Doc has an office right here, and she don't always, want us shutting down the streets and blocking
Right.
things off, but Doc loved that. She got real involved, and so the Songwriters Festival was to showcase the songwriter. Everybody thinks that George Strait wrote all those hits. No, he didn't. Dean Dillon wrote most of them. A lot of people think that One More Day was written by Diamond Rio. No, it was written by Bobby Tomberlin, who was here.
Yes.
And so I wanted to highlight that. I wanted people to come around and get a vibe of what it's like to be a songwriter. Not all of them are great guitar players or piano players. Not all of them are great singers, but they're great songwriters.
Yeah.
And for example, this weekend I'm going down to Atlanta, Georgia, and doing a big songwriters event down there myself, where I get to sit down on a stool with a guitar and I get to tell, why did I write this song?
Yeah.
What does it mean to me? And so we had vendors. We had seafood vendors. We had people selling, crafts, and we had great food, and we just had a lot of camaraderie. And I never had so many people come back after it was over and say, what a great thing.
Yeah.
We didn't know what to expect, but we really enjoyed this. It was fun. So, now we got Valley Fest, which is a great thing in Dunlap. Now we got the Songwriters Festival, which is a different take on music. A little smaller, more intimate thing. And it's all more and more music coming to Dunlap ain't a bad thing.
No.
So I hope that I'm being a part of that.
Well, you are. You're a big part of it.
Yeah, thank you.
Give yourself credit, because you deserve it.
Well, it takes a lot of people. It takes a village. I'm just the idiot.
Well, I don't know about that. Well, now let's talk a little bit about, if you want to, you've got a TV show you're trying to put together. Is it too early to talk about that?
No, I'm actually sitting here watching them edit it right now. They're in that other room right there. When we started, I guess the best way to describe this is, when we started redoing the Mercantile, restoring the Mercantile is a better word. The Dunlap Mercantile, which the front of is on Rankin Avenue, and I point like everybody knows where that is. But we started restoring the Mercantile. I started filming it with my cell phone, GoPros, just whatever. I tried to film mostly for prosperity's sake. And Becky Card, who people around here knows Becky Hatfield, she's a big HGTV person. And she's like, we should make a reality TV show. There's never been a reality TV show about restoring the old buildings, or towns, literally.
Yeah.
And so we toyed around with the idea. We've dealt with a lot of people in California that I've talked to, a lot of people in CMT, Discovery. I know a lot of people in the entertainment business, and then of course John Schneider is part of this. As an actor, he's we're editing and I'm filming now every day. We filmed yesterday 10, 12 hours.
Yeah.
And it's basically about a restoration of a building. And it's going to grow into the restoration of the rest of what we were doing here, like the studio we're sitting in. And it is about your community. It's called Your Community. So we sit back and we take for granted as we drive through town that the Coke Ovens is up there.
Yeah.
What a wonderful bunch of history the Coke Ovens is, right? We take advantage as we drive through towns that we're the hang gliding capital of the South, right?
Right.
We drive through town and we take advantage of the fact that, we don't think about our history. We don't think about, how Dunlap became Dunlap. Did we know that Dunlap was called Coops Creek before it was ever called Dunlap?
Right.
And it was founded by a guy named William Dunlap, so that's why it's called Dunlap. How old is the Dunlap Mercantile? It's the oldest building in Dunlap. It's the oldest building in Dunlap. There were older ones, but some of them burned. Built in 1894. So, the history that we have, well, guess what? Pikeville's got it too. There's a lot of great history in Pikeville.
Sure there is.
There's a lot of great history in Crossville. There's a lot of great history in little towns in Kentucky and Florida. And that's kind of what this is about. It's like we started restoring a building. We're going to continue to restore the Mercantile. But we're going to tell stories about our community throughout it.
Well,
and I hope that the rest of the world sees it and they go, hey, I wonder what's in my town. What can I do to help my town? What can I do to help, build Spencer, Tennessee up to a bigger place? So that's what I'm trying to do.
Well, and that could get out to where you start getting recommendations to go places.
Yeah, maybe we might go to another town after this.
Yeah.
If I do, I want to make Ethan the star of the next show. So I believe you could pull it off.
I believe you could. Well, and we're sitting here in the studio, which has been another thing that y'all have put together. Tell us a little bit about the studio and how y'all plan to use it.
How much more time we got? Man, this is... So Becky, Louie and Becky Card, they're the folks that came to me and said, hey, we want to do something for Dunlap. Becky's from Dunlap. She graduated high school here. Lived other places, but she's from Dunlap. It's your home. So we want to come home, we want to do something for Dunlap. So they buy the Mercantile, and we begin to restore it. And then she's got such a vision. Mm-hmm. I mean, she really does. And it's her vision. It's absolutely her vision. And other people help, maneuver and make her vision come to life. But it's her vision. And so part of her vision was that this be about music. Uh-huh. And that's one of the reasons I was fortunate and blessed to be included in all this. Upstairs of the studio is 4 Airbnbs that are open right now that are being rented, daily. Uh-huh. There's 4 Airbnbs. Those 4 Airbnbs are themed. There's a Dolly Parton suite, there's a Johnny Cash suite, a Conway Twitty suite, and a Waylon Jennings / Dukes of Hazzard suite. So the bedspread's got an 01 on it, like the General Lee. In the Conway Twitty room, it says "Hello, darling" on the bedspread. So it's a really neat thing. That was Becky's vision. Then Becky said, we need to do a recording studio, and I literally went, you've lost your mind. And I'm like, why would we want to do a recording studio? And this building has been sitting here again for
years.
What, 50? Before I was born.
Yeah.
It was sitting here. And, I'm 29. We sorry, I had to laugh. But anyway, she got this building and she said, we need to put a studio in it. And I'm like, man, you've lost your mind, Why would we want to go into that business? Because, I know it and I understand it, but it's a tough one.
Yes. Uh-huh.
So, no, it's part of her vision. So we end up, after many meetings and conversations, we started putting a recording studio in. In the front of the studio, which we're not in, we're actually in the tracking room right now. That's where we're sitting. And the tracking room is where the drums are right here, and there's the keyboards, and we got a 1965 B3 organ. Wow. And that B3 organ, which is right behind me here, it was used on the Leonard Skinner tour. Really? It was used on the Dick Clark tour. The Allman Brothers have played it on stage. So it's got a lot of history.
Yeah.
Iron Butterfly.
Really?
It just goes on and on and on. So we have the organ. We start to build the studio and put it all together. Out front of the studio out there, we're going to sell records, vintage records, and we're going to sell guitars. Then we have the tracking room here. I'm pointing right there, and maybe we get some footage of this stuff, but it is the room where we're editing the TV show, which is in the control room of the studio. So the studio has became, I don't know how to build a studio, so I'm called everybody. I'm asking questions to all my friends in the business. How do you soundproof it? How do you do this? How do you do that? Do you need this? Do you need that? We were blessed to get sponsored by a company called Warm Audio, which saved us thousands of dollars in just equipment. And so we're real close to it being open. Literally $126 cord away.
Wow.
Which I got today in the mail. So
I just install it.
Yeah, just got to install that one cord and we're done. So.
Well, that's great. That sounds like it's going to be a good time ahead.
Yeah, it is. We're going to make some music. It might be bad music. We're going to make it. And I'm going to use this to do, I'm writing songs for the TV show. I wrote a song called Small Town America recently, and that'll be the first song we track. And it'll be the first song that we track that goes into the TV show. And, in the TV show, I say, man, I couldn't wait to leave Dunlap. I could not wait. I wanted to leave Dunlap so bad. Nothing was here. I just felt like there was nothing for us to do. We cruised around on Friday and Saturday night and played at the beer joint, and that's about all we really had to do. If we wanted to do anything big, we had to go to Chattanooga. And now I can't believe I ever said those words, because I love Dunlap. And if you can tell me that there's a prettier place in the world than this one, I want to see it.
Yeah.
We get used to the mountains, so we don't go, wow, how gorgeous it is here. We look forward to going to the ocean, but guess what? The people at the ocean, they want to be here.
Right, they sure do.
Sure.
Well, is there anything else that we have not talked about? I know we talked about a lot that you'd like to tell us. Anything upcoming that we need to be aware of?
Man, it's going to be a fun time to see what happens with the studio. I think that's gonna be our next adventure. Try to get it open. I'm actually talking with the people of the Inspirational Country Music Association, which is where I won the awards. They love the idea of outlaw gospel, and they want to come here. And so Dunlap, Tennessee may end up being the home of the Inspirational Country Music Association.
Well.
And my big thing now is, and Becky's big thing and Louie's big thing is that we would love the idea of turning this little downtown area right here into a little mini Muscle Shoals.
Yeah.
Where if you want to come and play, or you want to record, or you want to spend the night in the Airbnb, or you want to come to the Mercantile and buy a Stetson, or thank everybody that I genuinely want to thank everybody that comes to the Mercantile. It's people come in the door and they'll say, "What is this place?" And I'm like, "I don't know." We're trying to figure that out. And so we sell hats and boots and T-shirts, and just got the most beautiful turquoise jewelry you're ever going to see. So we're rolling with the punches and trying to figure out what it's going to take to get all these buildings done. You got to keep in mind that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 buildings with businesses in them right now.
Yeah.
That they're not all finished. They're being restored, and this is this is a big long-term project. So they're all being restored. The food truck on the corner, which is, I point like everybody knows where I'm pointing to, but there's a food truck. It looks like a little diner sitting on the corner of Walnut and Cherry. It's opening August the 1st again.
August 1st.
Yep.
All right, good
and
deal.
So there'll be some great food there. We have some wonderful folks that have taken it and going to put, I think, New Orleans style food in it.
That's what I hear.
Yeah, so you know more about it than I do. But no, that's about it, man. Thank you for supporting small town America. It's a big deal. Small town America is a big deal.
Well, we're looking forward to being a part of it.
Yeah.
And we appreciate you very much. And thank you very much.
Thank you.
And congratulations.
Thank you. Maybe we'll get some more next year.
Oh, let's hope so. Let's work on it. And again, folks, you can see us on BTC Fiber's YouTube page as well as BTC Fiber's Channel 18. And again, we'd like to thank our sponsors, Embers Ice Cream, Nickel Row Antiques, and also White Wagon Bed and Breakfast. So until next time, have a great day. Hey everybody, this is Glenn Edison from Valley Views. We appreciate you watching our shows, and we would like for you to like, share, and follow us on Facebook, as well as like and subscribe to our YouTube page.
Brought to you by Bledsoe Telephone Cooperative, your full-service telecommunications provider right here in the Sequatchie Valley.